Greetings fellow viewers, welcome to another Interrail video where I compile a range of photographs and videos taken during my travels. In today's video, I would like to briefly document my experiences in Hamburg, Germany. I did not really know much about Hamburg prior to visiting it. All I knew was that it is a city that developed and prospered due to its Hanseatic status or its access to the harbour trade. In fact, I only thought of this trip as a stopgap between my Scandinavian destinations and Prague, where I was about to meet my friends in a couple days. My experience, as I'm about to detail in the next few minutes, however, definitely proves that I've set my expectations too low. On the first day, I did my first walking tour, the first one in my life. The tour was run by a company called Robin and the Tour Guides and run by a proud Hamburger, Kevin Brook. We went through several landmarks in the city, including the town hall or Rathaus, St. Peter's Church, and St. Nicholas Church. Though I don't remember most of the things described in the trip, I remember having elaborate discussions about the effects of the 1842 fire. Hence the phoenix on the Rathaus clock, which pays tribute to this fire as it symbolizes the phoenix rising from the ashes. The St. Nicholas Church, several streets away, was also destroyed and rebuilt in the 1842 fire, but the World War II bombings by the Allies, known as Operation Gomorrah, again destroyed the bulk of the church. As reflected by Hamburg streetscapes, these two events reshaped the city elaborately, and that is my biggest takeaway. Interestingly, another thing that stayed fresh in my mind was Hamburg's tax-free status. This is precisely the reason why Hamburg is quite wealthy, and in fact, 1 out of 45 of the population is a millionaire. So what are the odds of me befriending a millionaire if I were to work there? Only if I were to learn how to speak in German first. As my first street tour, I enjoyed my experience very much. It is inspiring to hear perspectives from a local, and considering that he is working as a volunteer and making money off tips, he certainly sounds very knowledgeable and more motivated than a standard tour guide. Another surprise takeaway from this tour was meeting two friendly solo travelers, Isabella from Brazil and Bengi from Turkey. Together we spent some time touring the city and having hamburgers in Hamburg, exploring the red light district St. Kaale and its surroundings and the beautiful harbour. While I was certainly not up for clubbing overnight, I joined the group for a very early breakfast at the fish market, which was also a unique experience. I could have gone for a more typical fish burger or fish fingers, but instead I went for a smoked fish sandwich, heavily marinated with vinegar, which was extremely sour but made the aftertaste experience more memorable nonetheless. In my own time, I thoroughly explored other parts of the city. On the first evening, I went to the U-boat museum, which I initially thought was a German submarine, but it turned out to be a Russian submarine that wasn't even captured but in fact purchased from Russia in 2002. How odd. That said, the claustrophobic experience of navigating a submarine certainly is very fun. This was followed by an exploration of the River Ebb. I first took a ferry towards both ends of the river, and perhaps because of the frequent showers, the scenery was pretty average, especially when compared against Copenhagen or Stockholm. However, being able to see crates and containers being moved around at the docks was interesting. Towards golden hours, the scenery got a lot prettier, at which point I decided to get on the free viewing deck at the Elbphilharmonie Opera House. The building itself is very modern and offers a panoramic view of the city. Some other places I went to were the St. Michael's Church, where I joined a Sunday prayer service to listen to beautiful organ music, the Brahms Museum, where I learned a lot more about his road to fame and his rather peculiar relationship with Clara Schumann, the Hamburg Kunsthalle, which showcased a range of classic and contemporary artworks, and finally the miniature wonderland in the warehouse district, Speicherstadt. Of the several locations mentioned, this miniature wonderland is my favorite attraction. It is a 3-story space that exhibits meticulously crafted models of cities like Hamburg, Las Vegas, and Rio. Most of the cities demonstrated are fictional, where key attractions are placed adjacent to each other, but I was told that the depiction of Venice is almost identical to that in real life. This itself is impressive, but the most impressive part of the exhibit, in my opinion, is a system that the team has built to enable hundreds or maybe even thousands of trains, vehicles, and planes to move in these models. There's even a 10-person control center to monitor all these signals, which is so nerdy but in an admirable way. Imagine telling people that you are the engineer of a model world. People might initially think that this is a jokingly appalling garbage projects, but if they witnessed the unfathomable amount of electronics, computers, and engineering behind the scenes, they would be absolutely astounded. All in all, I enjoyed my stay in Hamburg. While it was actually quite rainy during my stay, such that I was unable to skate in the city, sadly, I got a lot more time exploring the city with some newly met friends, both from the walking tour and the hostel. This, I guess, encapsulates the joy of traveling solo. There's the freedom to make my own plans, but when meeting cool people at unexpected places, you have so much more fun. And so with this thought in mind, I would like to close this video. Thank you so much and see you next time.